Hi, everyone. Kelly here. Today, I have Lisa and Andrea from the Yamamoto Music Studio, and I am so excited to talk about your studio and the growth that you guys had last year. You built
Yeah.
the studio to over $10,000 per month in
Mhm.
2023, which is just so impressive and so absurd. And I can't wait to get into the whole story. So, before I get too excited and dive in myself, Lisa, I'm going to start with you. Can you just tell us a little introduction about you and your studio and what it is that you guys do?
Sure. I've been teaching over 40 years. I started at like 16. I think Andrea started about
Mhm.
16, like teaching little piano lessons
Yeah.
and things like that, even though I'm a flutist as well. And, I was just always kind of teaching part time for many, many decades and out of my house. I never worked for anyone else. And, um, after I kind of stepped away completely from teaching public school music, I decided I was really going to focus in on my own home studio. So I started to take on more students, and then Andrea got to the point where she was like, I think I want to do this because I really love teaching privately. And so she joined the studio. And so then that obviously, became a little bit bigger. We had to expand to 2 rooms in the house. And now we have three with 3 pianos because just this year, thanks to Kelly and her brilliance, and also Isaac, I don't want to forget, he's in the
Yes.
background. The whole team, everybody, that we were able to go from, maybe like 40, 45 students to now we have over 70. And my husband's teaching. I have my friend, oboist, clarinet, and she teaches piano as well. Who's in my trio because I still play professionally. And then I have a young guy who is a guitar and ukulele player, and he is just starting his master's degree, and he's also
That's
teaching.
awesome.
So we have 5 teachers now and over 70 students that take lessons every single month. And
Whew.
yeah, so that's why we were able to like take our revenue through the roof. And I'm still trying to get more students for my other 2 traveling teachers. So yeah, we're
That's amazing.
working it.
F-
We're doing the program.
Working hard. So when we look at the studio, the first time we talked was December of 2022. So to kind of orient everyone in the timeline, we're talking about all of 2023 and what you guys did
Mhm.
in your studio growth this year.
Yeah.
When we met at the end of last year, the studio was healthy. We didn't really have any major complaints. We were happy with how things are going. But a lot of the conversation that we were having was how do we make this more sustainable so the revenue's not doing this every single month? That was a
Right.
big part of the
Oh
stress.
yeah.
And we have other teachers that are interested in teaching for us because they've seen the studio grow. But how do we do that? Like how do we bring other people
Right.
into the family business and
Mhm.
kind of brand it away from you guys? So tell me about some of the challenges that you were having at that point, any obstacles or frustrations that you were experiencing late 22.
Gosh. I mean, well, as you said, with the revenue kind of going up and down every month, we were getting a lot of students where if they did cancel, they wouldn't reschedule.
So
And
then that
then,
was lost revenue.
yeah, it would just like roll over to
Because
the next
we
month.
were doing what a lot of, most, I think, teachers out there is like pay per lesson, or like
Sure.
there's
Yep.
pay per month, or if there's only, if there's a vacation,
Mhm.
it's only 3 lessons. And so that's why as you were saying, the revenue was up and down. So
Yeah,
I think
that was,
especially for
yeah.
you more than,
Hmm.
but me too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
and just kind of getting more students as well.
yeah.
We didn't really understand how to market other than putting our, giving our card to the local shop or
Right. Or,
word of mouth or
yeah.
whatever it was. So, yeah, having a bit more
Well,
guidance with the social media.
and you had the advantage of, I mean, Lisa, you've got this long career in the area. You are established. People know who you are. So you're getting word of mouth. It's not like we're not getting leads coming in. But
Right.
my memory is that it felt a little um, beyond our control. Like they were coming in sporadic, and we didn't have a direct hand in being able to kind of turn up the volume when we needed it, or being able to get more student leads coming in. Is that pretty accurate?
Yes, and that's
Okay.
where, like, you helping both of us individually, and then also as a together, create digital flyers,
Yeah.
and going through the whole, like, these are the Facebook groups, or this is the Instagram, or this is what,
Yeah.
doing those kind of things again, like Andrea was saying with social media. So
Yeah.
it,
So,
That's awesome.
it was
So
a
as we got to that point in late 22 and we knew we wanted to change for 2023,
yeah.
Okay, we're kind of talking about some of the things that we did that worked. So,
Sorry. Yeah.
oh no, you're totally fine. Like, let's go there. So, the social media was a big part of it, which was awesome. So, we really leaned into that.
Yes.
What were some strategies? And we're an open book here, so don't feel like you need to hold back at all. But what were some strategies that felt um, not only like they were working for you consistently, but they also felt really comfortable marketing strategies for you guys to start implementing right away?
Hmm. I think definitely the flyers. That was a big
Yeah.
one. It seemed like we got a big wave of students right after we
Mm.
released those.
Yeah. There's
Um,
especially one local moms group, not actually in our city, but in a neighboring city, where the moms are
Oh,
very active. And we got probably
that's
5 or
awesome.
6 students from that. And we had probably 15 inquiries.
That's
So that some
amazing.
people decided not to go with or whatever. But, and the thing is that I think just almost every one of those students is still with us now,
yeah,
a year later,
Mm.
you
yeah.
know? Yeah. Some
Now,
of them.
why do you think that is? Because we talked a little bit before we were recording about like high
Yeah.
quality students and being so happy with the students that we have coming in. What do you think is impacting the longevity and
Go
the
ahead. You go.
students just being a good fit? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think one by being on those moms groups and whatever, where there are people who are looking for studios and they're willing to pay, as opposed to what's the best deal I can get, and
Yeah.
also doing all of the consultations
There you go. I
beforehand,
was going to say,
because
yeah.
when you're just kind of doing it off the cuff during the first lesson, you forget things, or like you word things funny and people kind of go, "Ooh, I don't know," versus really having that script. And especially if we
Mm,
weren't doing it in person, it was nice to just kind of have that off to the side and be like, okay, so here's what I need to talk to you
Mhm.
about,
Right.
and kind of just laying all the cards out on the
Mhm.
table and saying, here's what we're about. So, and especially for when we weren't doing consultations in person, it was really nice to just like on the side of the screen have the little script up, and it's like, okay, this is exactly
Yeah.
what I need to say, all the information
Mhm.
I need to get across. And those the kind of people who were okay with all of these policies that we just sort of handed out
Mhm.
before we even started,
mhm.
this zero pressure sort of thing.
Mhm.
Those are the kind of people who were going to be a better fit, who were going to not
Mhm.
cause problems.
I can tell you, since I do most of the consultations, even for the other teachers, is
Mhm.
that even the parents that seem skeptical, once you start to make that, you're really looking them eye to eye, and you present yourself. I try to present a good face for the business, and be personable, and talk directly to the, especially if they're mostly of them, they're children, they're
Yeah.
younger children,
Yeah.
and I'll speak directly to them, and then you've made that connection already. And then even the parents like, okay, yeah, we're going to think about it, or I need to talk to my husband, or I need to talk to my wife, or whatever it is. And then
Mhm.
generally they'll give you a call, or they'll
Yeah.
send an email or a text that says, hey, when can we schedule? So I
That's
think
awesome.
those consultations, instead of just taking a cold, oh, okay, sure, let's start lessons,
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah,
So the
those were,
organization is a big part of it, but what I'm also hearing you guys say is it's not just the organization, it's the confidence that comes with that structure. Because Lisa, as
yes.
you're saying, like I can look them straight in the eye and describe my policies and I know them and I feel so solid about them, not just like, here's the policies, I'll email them to you and I hope they're okay. Like I hope you like them. I hope you accept them. There's confidence in that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And of course I always do, after I've explained, we have a flat rate tuition, and we guarantee this many lessons per year, and we do make, like, I do makeups, usually like the last Saturday of every month. So if you get sick, or there's a school thing, or you got
Mm.
to go to church or whatever, that's fine. But then I'm going to be sending you a link to sign up for a makeup lesson, so that again, you have that opportunity to make it up. I'm not losing any revenue.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
or you're
There's
not losing.
clear structure. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well, and
there,
it's important, especially as you're bringing in other teachers, because now you're not just responsible for your own revenue. You're
yes,
responsible for their livelihood too. And that
yes.
comes with, as we had talked about early on, as you were bringing on your first teacher, it comes with a lot of not only sense of responsibility, but there's a lot of gravity in that because as you said, these are your friends, these are your colleagues. You want them to thrive and be happy and feel like they have a solid revenue also, not just that they're joining your program and you're
Mm,
making oodles and noodles of cash, right? So
Right.
talk a little bit about that process of bringing somebody else on into the business and some obstacles and how you might have worked through them.
Well, I brought my friend Marilyn on because her family was struggling. Her husband was out of work. He had had long COVID,
Mm,
and she has two children. And so she's like, I don't know, should I quit being a musician and go do a desk job? And I'm like,
Please
no,
no.
don't do it.
yes. Oh my
So I'm like,
gosh.
okay,
Yeah.
look, why don't I, why don't you come and work for me? I will, because she was working for other studios that were literally paying her pennies. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous the amount of money for somebody who's got a bachelor's and a master's and is 40 something years old with 25 years, 30 years of teaching. It was ridiculous, and I was just
Yep.
like, no,
Yep.
I need to get you people.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what level up to what level can you teach piano? Okay, let's start with
Mm,
piano. Now we got her an oboe student. Now we're working on, trying to get clarinet because she's a doubler. So, okay. And then, so that was the first one to bring on. And then I was actually contacted out of the blue
Yes.
by a young guy who was just finishing his bachelor's in classical guitar at Cal State Fullerton. Who they have I went there. I went to
Amazing
Cal
guitar
State.
program.
They have an amazing guitar program.
yes.
It is
Yes, they
amazing
do.
classical guitar, really good. So I thought, okay, Freddie, let's go. Let's. I'll do my best. And that was in April. I brought both of them on, and that was really when we started to get more students for them, and our
Mm,
revenue went even higher. But I would not have been able to be effective in taking care of them, if you want to put it that way, and as not non-employees, but as independent contractors, had I not known what to do in terms of the marketing and the social media and we created flyers for them with their
Yeah.
give me your headshots, let's go. And so now each one of them has like 6 or 7 students each. They're doing really well. And I don't take as much money as I probably should from their. I don't, because
yeah, sure.
one one
You wanted to support them. That was the main
that's
goal
right.
and
That's
taking them
right. So
on.
I'm not taking 30%. I'm taking like 15. It's like tiny
Hmm.
bit. And that's okay because Marilyn is now, their family is finally doing better. Right. And that, thank goodness they've had some help, from other people. I actually have a friend who is helping to, like, will anonymously donate money or anonymously
Mm,
give Christmas gifts and things like that to help the family. But I feel like, a handout is great, but a hand up is better. So
yes,
that's
I understand.
why
Yeah, I understand that.
and Freddie's he's like 22, 3
Yeah.
years old. He's just starting out. I remember what that was like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. I feel, and I always pay them first before I pay myself. So that's something like they've told me their experiences with other people are like, no, if I don't get paid, I'm the one who has to call. I'm the one who has to try to get on it. I'm
Mm,
like, no, I don't want you to have to do that. I will do that. So that's
Yeah.
on me.
Yeah. And having the templates for that
Yes.
has been incredible.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, okay, we know that everything is worded in such a way that it's clear, it's
Not
it's
emotional.
it's non-threatening,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
great
it's
because I
just business. It's just business.
That's it.
exactly,
It's
you
how
know,
it is. So
and having you having guided us through writing those policies,
mhm.
um it felt less. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. It feels less like we're being assholes about it.
You can say
It's
whatever you want. That's totally fine.
but, yeah, it just feels like we're not being jerks.
Yeah.
In it's like, no, this is just business, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
nothing personal. We're not coming after you. We just want what's due to
Do
us.
yeah, kind of
Mhm.
thing.
you know.
So
Well,
so far,
well,
no
you're
problem.
providing quality lessons. Like you need to get
Mhm.
paid what you're worth. And we talked a
Mhm.
little bit about this already this morning. That when you 2023 was a chaotic year for your family. We had a lot going on. And you're also trying to build this business and establish a studio and do all these things on top of it, which is just, again, absolute chaos. But that
Yeah.
stability means that when things come up, now you can give the time and attention and the focus to what
Yeah.
you need to give it to. And that's something that you're, again, providing and translating into these contracts with the other instructors, that it's taking care of the instructor in a way that they feel supported and they feel
Yes.
um, genuinely valued by the student and by you and your team. And now it's not like this dread of, oh, I have to go teach today, or oh, I have to go to work. It's a place that we all
Right.
genuinely want to be because we feel that valuation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's so
Yeah.
important.
Means
That's so
so far
important.
so good. Everything's worked out great the last what eight, 9 months.
Yeah.
Everything's been really good with them. And,
Good.
there's been no
Good.
problems with students. There's been no problems with payment.
Yeah.
Everything's, thankfully, knock on wood. So,
Yeah.
it's all good. So,
Well, one thing I think that really impacted that for you guys is structure and putting into place, like having studio management software, of course, makes a big deal, but having those clean and clear policies, as you're saying, there's a template, it's just business, it's not personal. We can apply those policies and uphold them pretty easily. At the
mhm,
same time, when there is that structure, we all just fall into the structure naturally. So it allows you to save time and energy because you're not chasing down invoices, you're not re-explaining policies 47 different times.
yeah,
Everyone is starting from an aligned place.
yeah,
So from then
mhm,
on out, the rest of the relationship can be a breeze. And it makes
mhm,
that
yes,
work so much easier.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Mhm,
Now, as we are talking about this growth, I just want to kind of recap the growth really quickly for everyone so we have an understanding of like where we came from because we're putting on this big number, $10,000 months, which is amazing. And that was something that you guys essentially doubled over the course of
right.
last year. So coming in,
Yes.
we did have students. Again, the studio was strong. We were doing, I think, combined around 5,000 a
Mhm,
month. Within 90 days, and we had done this math again together at the beginning of the call, at 90 days, you had $8,600 a month gross. And that was just as
yep,
we were bringing on the first teacher.
Yeah.
So
right.
$3,600 a month in new
Yeah,
monthly
they have
recurring
to
revenue in
work.
90 days.
Yeah.
Holy
Mhm.
cow. And
Yeah.
then from there, now we've added about 14, more than that actually, 14 plus thousand or 14 plus hundred, sorry,
Right,
to get over
right.
that 10,000 in the last
Yeah.
couple months. When we talk about the stability of that and what it's done for you guys on, and we don't have to get into details, but on a personal level, when the business is doing this well, what has that freed up for you guys, or how does that feel in your personal lives when we're not stressing so much about that?
Oh,
Mhm.
wow. I mean, for me, definitely, because I'm now working at about 29 students, almost completely full for my schedule. And my husband and I were able to buy a much bigger house. Um,
And
I
host
was,
Thanksgiving, I think, right?
yes, we did.
Yay! So cool. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. That's
Uh,
amazing.
yeah. And I was telling you earlier, we're planning on starting a family this year. So that's really exciting. I feel like we're making enough where we can actually start planning things like that. Um, And I don't know, there were a lot of years where I took almost no vacations.
Mm,
I was I was teaching 6 days a week all year
yep.
round, except for like Thanksgiving and Christmas. That was about it.
Mhm.
Now I can plan ahead and I can go, okay, this is exactly how many weeks of vacation I am planning to take off. And so I can have these vacation days and everybody's still happy. There's nobody who feels like they're getting shortchanged.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Having that flexibility and that built-in time gives peace
Mhm.
of mind. It also prevents burnout. And that was something we talked about a lot when we first got together was how do we make sure we can do this in a sustainable way so that we're not like
Right.
driving ourselves wild trying to fit all of this in and achieve all of our goals and take on other teachers and help other people and work on more students and how do we find that comfortable sustainability? And I think we're at that place and at a very healthy revenue level, which is amazing. That's
Yeah.
awesome, you guys.
Yeah, I would say probably for me all the same things. It's allowed me to have flexible vacation time
Mhm.
because my husband is a retired music teacher, and
Mm,
we would travel. We're at that stage in our life where it's like, okay, we have money and time now. So
Yeah.
used to be we were either lacking money or lacking time. So now we have both together. So we can take
Yeah.
vacations and we can go plan. And I'm again, neither one of us is sitting here worried about, oh my God, how much money are we
mm.
going to make that month? Can we make our
Yeah.
bills? Can we do, because we have that, oh my God, the flat rate
It was the best thing
tuition. Oh my
ever.
gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I'm
thank
so glad
you.
it's made such an impact for you guys. Of course. Oh my gosh. Look, as we kind of wrap up for the day, I want to maybe put a little bit of advice out there. Like, let's say someone's at a point where either they're starting their studio or maybe they're at that point that you guys were about a year ago thinking, like, it would be nice if we could hire. How could I take my business to the next level? What might that look like? What would you want them to know? Or what do you wish past Lisa and Andrea had known at that stage that you know now?
Oh my gosh. Well, I was going to say just follow your program. That's
Mhm.
that's one of the
That's
things.
yeah.
Well,
You
thank
you
you. I
are
appreciate
so
that.
no, really,
Yeah.
it's so organized. It's so like, okay, if basically You have to think about, here's where you are and here's where you want to be, and Kelly's going to help you get there. Where how if you don't want to make 1,000 a month, if you don't want to hire other people, okay, don't do that. But if you're like, no, I just need to be making more money, or I need to have more vacation, or whatever it is, follow the program, take her advice, because you, Isaac, and the team, this is the reason why you put this program together, is because you're like, okay, no, we know the technology, we got this. And you already are a private teacher, you know where all the pitfalls are. And you're like, here, so this is the problem, how do we fix it? Here's the next problem, how do we fix it? And then that's a lot of it right there, I think, is just deciding where you want to be, and then follow the program.
Yeah, because for all of us scatterbrained, right-brained folks, it's really nice to have some of that left brain energy to kind of keep us on track, because like we were saying, when we were teaching, it was always, well, I don't want to ask too much of my students. I don't want to inconvenience them.
Or we don't want to charge too much, because then they're going to say no, and then not anymore.
Not having to worry about that.
We just upped our prices $5 per kid per month in January, and nobody said a word. I just said it'll be $5 more, which amounts to $1.30 per lesson. If you can't even barely get something at the dollar store for $1.30 with tax, right? It's, not, you can't get a coffee for $1.30. So it's like, and given the neighborhood that we live in, which is it's quite nice here in Southern California. Yes. But it actually doesn't even really matter if you're teaching online or what neighborhood you're in. You need to start thinking, oh, look, I've got education, I've got real skills, I've got lots of years under my belt, or whatever. I deserve to be paid what I'm worth. And then you attract people who are willing to pay you what you're worth, because they want either themselves or their children educated well. That's a lot of it. So yeah.
And you guys absolutely deserve that. And then some. And future rate increases deserve all of that too. I mean, there's so much growth ahead of you guys. And I'm just so glad that the studio is thriving, and that you're just so happy and comfortable in the scheduling. And we were talking just a second ago, you just got back from a 3-week vacation. Like, it's just amazing to hear you guys, not only building the studio, but then making use of all of these the time off and all these liberties that you've created for yourself within that structure. I'm just so glad that you guys have that time. You absolutely deserve it. That's amazing.
And I need to tell you that we've never, ever taken that much time at the Christmas and New Year's break. But we were both saying, because we started back yesterday, because the schools are now back open on the 8th, and we were both talking about how excited we were to get back to teaching.
Yes. That is so underrated. I'm glad that you said that. Absolutely. You take that time away and you come back, and like, you have fresh eyes, you're hearing things differently. You hear the same student play the same piece, and you're like, wait a second. I didn't notice that before. What was that? What are you doing there? And all of a sudden you're just more engaged, because you're bringing so much energy into it after fully decompressing. That is so underrated. And I'm glad that you said that. That's amazing. Oh, you guys, it's been an absolute joy to work with you. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your growth with everyone. I think I know this is inspiring, because I'm inspired by you guys, but I really, really hope that people that are watching this take a lot out of it, because you guys shared so much value. I really appreciate it.
Well, my advice is for those people who are watching this and they're like, well, I don't know, I'm not sure. Just pay the fee, work the program honestly, genuinely, and then you will make that money back like that.
We made it back in less than the 90 days.
Oh yeah, I think I was going to say, because all of a sudden we were like, boom, full, both of us, and more money. And it was like, oh my God. I would say within like 4 months or so, we had made that money back. It was such a deal.
I am so glad to hear that. Thank you so much. And we try to do that in our pricing. So I appreciate you saying that too, because that's a really important value of mine. So I'm so glad. Thank you guys. Congratulations again. Thank you for sharing. This has been amazing. I really appreciate you guys. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you so much.